The night was quiet. Too quiet for a city that never really sleeps. Detective Clara Hayes sat by her window, coffee gone cold, a dull ache sitting heavy in her chest. The rain outside tapped against the glass like it was trying to remind her that time hadn't stopped, even though her world had. Her phone buzzed again, another message from her daughter Maya. Clara hesitated before opening it. "Mom, I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore." Her heart sank. That single line felt like a punch to the gut. She grabbed her jacket and rushed out the door without another thought. The drive to Maya's apartment felt endless. Every red light was torture. Her mind ran wild. What had she missed? The last few weeks, Maya had been distant, quiet, her laughter gone. Clara had blamed stress, maybe work, but deep down she'd known something wasn't right. When she reached the building, her gut twisted. The front door was slightly open. "Maya," her voice trembled as she stepped inside. The apartment was dim, the lights low, a glass of wine half finished on the table, and on the floor, Maya sitting against the couch, tears streaking her face. "Mom," she whispered, her voice cracked and small. Clara dropped to her knees beside her. "Sweetheart, what happened?" Maya couldn't speak at first. Her body shook, as if every word would break her further. Finally, she whispered the name Clara had hoped never to hear again. "Ethan." Clara froze. "Ethan, your husband." Maya nodded, eyes red. He's not the man everyone thinks he is, Mom. He hurt me." The words didn't make sense at first. Hurt her. Ethan, the charming lawyer, the man who had stood beside her daughter at her wedding. Clara's heartbeat roared in her ears. She looked around the room, bruises, broken picture frames, the silence of fear thick in the air. She pulled Maya into her arms, holding her as tightly as she could. "You're safe now," she said softly, though part of her already knew. Safety was a lie. Later that night, after Maya finally fell asleep, Clara stood at the window, staring into the rain-soaked street. Her reflection looked older, harder. The mother in her wanted to hold her daughter forever. The detective in her wanted blood. She whispered to herself, "If he touched her, I'll make him regret ever breathing." But somewhere deep inside, she knew this wouldn't be simple. Ethan wasn't just any man. He had connections, powerful ones. And Clara Hayes was about to step into a war she didn't start, but one she would damn sure finish. What Maya confessed the next morning would shatter Clara's world and turn a mother's love into something far more dangerous. The morning light crept slowly through the blinds, turning the room a pale shade of gold. Clara sat quietly beside her daughter's bed, watching her breathe. Maya looked so fragile. The same girl who used to chase butterflies in their backyard now looked like she hadn't slept in days. Clara's hands trembled as she brushed a strand of hair from her daughter's face. Every bruise told a story, and each one screamed louder than words ever could. When Maya's eyes finally opened, she flinched just for a moment before realizing where she was. "You're safe," Clara whispered, forcing a small smile. "You're home, but safety, that was just a word now." Maya sat up slowly, clutching the blanket. "Mom, I need to tell you something," she said, her voice breaking, "but you have to promise me you'll listen first and not do anything crazy." Clara nodded, but her heart was already racing. "Okay." Maya took a shaky breath. "It started months ago. Ethan became different, controlling. He'd go through my phone, check my emails. He said he was just being protective, but it got worse." Clara's stomach twisted. "Worse how?" Maya hesitated. He started following me to work, accusing me of things I never did. Then last month he found out I was talking to someone, a colleague, about him. That's when she trailed off, eyes filling with tears. Clara's voice softened. That's when what, sweetheart? Maya's next words came out like broken glass. He hit me, Mom. Clara froze. Her blood ran cold, then boiled. Every instinct screamed to grab her gun, find him, and end this right now. But she didn't move. She couldn't. She just sat there, holding her daughter's trembling hands. He said if I ever told anyone, he'd destroy us both, Maya continued, tears streaming down her face. And he can, Mom. He has friends, judges, lawyers, even people in the police department. Clara's heart pounded. She'd worked long enough in law enforcement to know. People like Ethan didn't make threats they couldn't keep. Why didn't you come to me sooner? She whispered. I was scared. He said he'd ruin your career, that no one would believe me. He even showed me pictures of people who spoke against him, people who disappeared. Clara swallowed hard. A wave of nausea hit her. He's done this before. Maya nodded. And if he finds out I told you, he won't stop this time. For a long moment, the room was silent. Except for the sound of rain starting again outside, Clara stood up, pacing the room. Her mind raced with 1,000 thoughts. Evidence, protection, exposure. But one thought drowned out the rest. He hurt my daughter. She looked back at Maya, eyes burning with quiet fury. I promise you, sweetheart, she said softly. He'll never touch you again. Maya looked terrified. Mom, don't do anything reckless, please. Clara managed a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Me? Reckless. Never. But as she turned away, that same storm outside began to move inside her, because she wasn't just a mother anymore. She was a detective, and she was about to start an investigation no one could stop. But when Clara began digging into Ethan's past, what she found wasn't just abuse. It was a web of secrets, powerful enough to destroy everything she'd ever believed in. The city felt different the next morning. The air was heavy, the kind that carried secrets and storms.
Clara hadn't slept. She sat at her kitchen table, files spread out like puzzle pieces waiting to be solved. Every sip of coffee did nothing to wash away the bitterness that had settled inside her. She'd been a detective long enough to know what abuse looked like. But this wasn't just bruises and fear. This was control, manipulation power. And Ethan wasn't just another man who lost his temper. He was calculated, confident, protected. She looked at her daughter's photo on the counter and whispered, "You picked the wrong family to break, Ethan." By mid-morning, Clara was already in motion. Years of police work had taught her that when something feels wrong, you follow the money. She started quietly. Logging into the department database, she searched Ethan's law firm, Harrison and Cole. Nothing major popped up at first, but when she dug deeper, connecting contracts and court filings, something didn't add up. Several of Ethan's clients had ties to criminal cases. All mysteriously dismissed bribery, blackmail, or something bigger? Her instinct screamed, cover up. Then she saw a familiar name buried in one of the files. Chief Samuel Ward. Her boss. Clara's blood ran cold. The chief had always liked Ethan, invited him to galas, family dinners, fundraisers. Too close, too friendly. She leaned back in her chair, exhaling sharply. So that's why he warned me not to get involved in Ethan's private life. He already knew. For the first time in years, Clara felt real fear. Not for herself, but for Maya. If Ethan had protection at the top, how deep did this go? Later that day, she visited Maya again. Her daughter looked better, calmer, but the shadows under her eyes hadn't faded. "Did you tell anyone else?" Clara asked quietly. Maya shook her head. "No, you're the only one I trust." Clara smiled softly. "Good. Keep it that way." Maya hesitated. "Mom, what are you doing?" Clara's eyes softened, but her voice was steady. "Finding proof. And when I do, no one, not Ethan, not his friends, will be able to touch us again." Maya grabbed her hand, worry flooding her face. "Mom, you can't fight him alone. He's dangerous." Clara squeezed her fingers. "So am I." That night, Clara parked across the street from Ethan's office. The building was dark except for one window on the top floor, Ethan's. She zoomed in with her phone camera. He wasn't alone. Another man stood with him, exchanging papers and shaking hands. Her pulse quickened as she focused on the second man's face. It was Chief Ward. They weren't just friends. They were partners. Clara whispered to herself, "What the hell are you two hiding?" Just then, her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number popped up. "Detective Hayes, stop digging. Some secrets are meant to stay buried." She stared at the screen, a chill running down her spine. No name, no number, just a warning. She locked her phone, eyes narrowing. You picked the wrong mother to threaten. But the deeper Clara dug, the more dangerous the truth became. And soon, she would learn that Ethan's crimes went far beyond her daughter. The next few days blurred into sleepless nights. Clara had gone from detective to shadow, moving quietly, asking questions only she could afford to ask. She'd learned long ago that corruption doesn't scream. It whispers. It hides in smiles, handshakes, and trust me's. And now she was following the whisper that pointed straight at her son-in-law. It started with a key. Maya had given it to her one morning, hesitant but determined. "He keeps it in the bottom drawer of his office desk," she said. "He said it was for personal documents. I never dared to look."
Clara stared at the small silver key for a long time before pocketing it. That night, she returned to Ethan's office. The building was nearly empty, just the hum of vending machines and the distant buzz of fluorescent lights. Clara moved like a ghost, her badge tucked away. If she was caught, she wouldn't be a detective anymore. She'd be a criminal. The key fit perfectly. Inside the drawer was a black folder, thicker than she expected. No labels, no markings. Just weight, the kind that carried guilt. She opened it carefully. Page after page of documents, financial transfers, property deeds, and something worse, lists. Names, ages, amounts. Each page made her heart sink deeper. These weren't just business deals. They were transactions. People being bought and moved under the cover of Ethan's law firm. She whispered, "Oh my God." Clara recognized one of the listed locations, an old warehouse by the docks, long shut down after a fire. She'd worked that case years ago. It was never solved. Now she knew why. Just then, a sound broke her thoughts' footsteps. Slow, deliberate. She shut the folder, stuffed it into her coat, and ducked behind the desk. Through the crack of the office door, she saw a man walk in. Not Ethan. Chief Ward. He moved straight to the desk, pulled out his phone, and muttered, "She's close. I told you she wouldn't stop." Clara's blood went cold. He knows. Ward paused, glancing around the room before pulling a lighter from his pocket. Flame flickered. He opened the drawer, the same drawer Clara had emptied minutes ago, and dropped the lighter in. The folder, the evidence. Everything gone in seconds. Clara's pulse thundered as the smell of burning paper filled the air. Ward muttered, "That should buy us some time." Then he walked out. She waited until his footsteps vanished before slipping out the side door, her heart pounding. In her coat, the folder felt heavy like holding a loaded gun. When she reached home, Maya was waiting. "Mom, what happened?" Clara didn't answer right away. She just handed her the folder. Maya flipped through the pages, her face draining of color. "What is this?" Clara's voice was low and steady. "Proof of what Ethan's really doing." Maya shook her head in disbelief. "But human trafficking? Mom, no. That's impossible. He wouldn't." Clara cut her off gently. "He already did." Maya dropped the folder onto the table, tears filling her eyes. "You're going to the police, right?" Clara looked away, her jaw tightening. "The police? Maya, half of them are in his pocket. So what do we do?" Clara's gaze hardened. "We make sure the world sees this before they can bury it." But before Clara could expose Ethan, the unthinkable happened. The evidence disappeared, and someone she trusted betrayed her first. The next morning, Clara woke to silence, the kind that made her skin crawl. No birds, no cars, no distant hum of traffic. Just stillness. She sat up slowly, scanning her living room. The folder she'd brought home, the one that could destroy Ethan's empire, was gone. Her chest tightened. No, no, no. She tore through the table, the drawers, the shelves. Nothing. "Maya?" she called out, her voice shaking. Her daughter appeared in the hallway, eyes wide, still in her robe. "Mom, what's going on?" "The folder," Clara said quickly. "Where is it?" Maya blinked. "The one from last night? I thought you locked it up." Clara froze. "I did!" A horrible chill crept up her spine. Someone had been inside the house. Clara grabbed her phone, but before she could call anyone, it buzzed. A message from an unknown number again. "Told you to stop digging. Now it's too late." Her stomach dropped. "Maya, get your things," she said firmly. "We're leaving." "Leaving? Where?" "Somewhere safe." But even as she said it, she knew safe didn't exist anymore. They packed in silence. Clara kept checking the windows, scanning the street. A black car sat parked across from the house, engine off, windows tinted. Maya noticed it too. "Mom." "I see it," Clara said, pulling her coat tighter. "Just keep moving." 2 hours later, they were holed up in an old motel outside the city, one of the places Clara used for confidential informants. The room smelled like cigarettes and rain, but at least it had locks. Clara sat on the edge of the bed, running through her thoughts. The evidence was gone. Ward knew she'd taken it. That meant Ethan knew too. Her phone buzzed again, this time, a call. Unknown number. She answered, her voice sharp. "Who is this?" Silence. Then a familiar voice, calm and slow. Clara, Ethan said. You've been busy. Her blood went cold. I don't know what you think you're doing, he continued, but it's over. Go home. Forget this. Forget, she hissed. You hurt my daughter. You ruined lives. You think I'm going to forget that? A low chuckle came through the line. You've always been dramatic, but you're not thinking straight. You've put Maya in danger. Don't you dare say her name. I'm just trying to help, he said softly. If you'd come to me, we could have handled this privately. But now, things have gone too far. What does that mean? You'll see soon. The line went dead. Clara's hand trembled as she set her phone down. Maya was sitting across from her, watching quietly. Was it him? Maya asked. Clara nodded. He knows where we are. Maya's eyes filled with fear. How? Clara's jaw tightened. Because someone told him? Her mind raced through possibilities. Who knew about the folder? The investigation? The motel? Then she froze. Her best friend, Detective Laura Green, had called her last night, asking if she was okay, asking where she was staying. At the time, it felt like concern. Now, it felt like a setup. Clara stood abruptly, grabbing her gun. Stay here. Don't open the door for anyone. Mom, what are you going to do? Find out who betrayed us. Maya reached out, tears in her eyes. Mom, please. But Clara was already at the door. As she stepped into the rain, she felt it again, the sensation of being watched. A shadow moved near the parking lot, just out of reach of the dim light. She turned, weapon drawn. Show yourself. No response. Just rain, wind, and the sound of tires crunching gravel in the distance. Clara's gut twisted. She wasn't paranoid anymore. They were here. She whispered to herself, if they think I'm scared, they're wrong. Her phone buzzed again. A new message. You shouldn't have trusted your own. Her breath caught. Oh God. Laura? Clara had spent her life catching liars, but she never imagined her best friend would be one of them. And this betrayal would cost her more than she was ready to lose. The rain hadn't stopped since dawn. It poured in thick, relentless sheets, drowning the city in gray. Clara drove in silence, her hands tight on the steering wheel. Each drop hitting the windshield felt like a ticking clock counting down to something she couldn't yet see. Maya was safe, for now. Hidden. But Clara wasn't, and neither was Laura. She pulled up to the old precinct, the one she and Laura had joined together almost 15 years ago, two young detectives, chasing justice with fire in their eyes and nothing to lose. Now, that fire burned differently. Laura's office light was still on. Clara walked straight in without knocking. Laura looked up from her desk, startled. Clara? What are you doing here? Clara shut the door behind her. You tell me. Laura frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Clara stepped closer, her voice low, steady, and dangerous. You called me last night, asked where I was staying, and an hour later, Ethan called me at that exact location. Coincidence? Laura's lips parted, but no sound came out. I trusted you, Clara continued. You knew I had the folder. You knew what I was doing. And now my daughter and I are being hunted. Laura looked down, eyes wet. Clara, please, it's not what you think. Then tell me what it is. Clara snapped, her voice breaking. For a long moment, the only sound was rain hammering the windows. Then Laura whispered, they came for me first. Clara froze. Who? Ward Eaton, all of them, Laura said, trembling. They found out I was helping you. They said they'd make it look like I was dirty, that I'd lose my badge, my family, everything. I didn't have a choice. Clara's jaw tightened. You always have a choice. Laura shook her head. Not this time. You don't understand. Clara, they're bigger than we thought. They've got eyes everywhere. They control the evidence, the press, even internal affairs. You can't win this. Clara leaned in, her voice low and cold. You think I care about winning? He hurt my daughter. He destroyed lives. I don't need to win. I just need to make him pay. Laura's eyes filled with tears. You're going to get yourself killed. Clara stared at her for a long moment, then turned to leave. At the door, she paused. If you were really my friend, you'd have warned me. Laura's voice cracked. I just did. Clara stepped out into the hallway. Something inside her shifted. That last piece of trust she'd held on to finally snapped. She'd lost her partner, her safety, her peace. Now, there was only purpose. As she reached her car, a flash of headlights cut through the rain. A black SUV sped past the same one she'd seen near the motel. Her phone buzzed again. Another unknown message. We warned you. Now it's her turn. Her heart stopped. She ran to her car, calling Maya's phone. No answer. Maya, pick up. She shouted into the rain. Still nothing. Her fingers shook as she dialed again, voicemail. Her daughter was gone. Clara slammed her hands against the steering wheel. No, not her. Her voice echoed inside the car as thunder rolled across the sky. Tears mixed with rain as she whispered, they took the wrong woman's child. She started the engine, tires screeching as she sped into the night. The mother was gone. The detective was gone. All that remained was something far more dangerous, a storm in human form. They thought breaking her would end the fight. But what Clara would do next would shake their entire world. Clara drove like a woman with nothing left to lose. The city at night blurred into streaks of neon and rain. Every red light felt personal, every horn a small, furious alarm. She called everyone she could think of, old informants, retired colleagues, bar owners who knew too much. Most of them ignored her. A few hung up. One gave her a name and a trembling address, an auto yard. By the river where missing cars sometimes ended up, she pulled into the lot, heart thudding so hard she thought it might break the glass of the car. The yard smelled of oil and rust. Under the halogen glow, bodies of cars sat like wounded animals. She slipped out with her flashlight and moved between them, looking for a clue, a tag, a smear of lipstick, a child's tiny shoe. Then she saw it. A pink hairband snagged under a bumper, half buried in grease. Maya's? She didn't need proof beyond that band. She grabbed it, finger slick, and pressed it to her mouth like a talisman. Maya, she breathed, voice raw. I'm coming. She called Aaron next, the one man still willing to risk everything for the truth. He answered on the second ring, voice low. I found a lead. A place they moved people through before shipping them out. It's tied to a shell company registered under Harrison and Cole. He paused. You sure you want to do this, Clara? Once you step in, there's no stepping back. No stepping back, she agreed. Not for my child. They met under a rusted overpass, trading information in quick whispers. Aaron slid her a photo, a man in a suit stepping from a van, hand on a child's shoulder. The man's face was turned, but his gait, his posture looked familiar. Clara's stomach dropped. It was someone from the fundraiser last month, a board member who always sat beside Chief Ward. The world narrowed into a single thought. They were closer than she imagined. They weren't hiding in shadows. They were wearing suits and shaking hands at charity galas. They smiled while they traded people like paper. Clara's training gave way to cold, clever planning. She needed proof the police couldn't bury. She needed a place to force the truth into light. She would bait them a move so public it would be impossible to sweep under the rug. But bait needs blood. Bait needs chits and threats, and a willingness to walk into danger with a smile. Clara wrote the plan across the back of an old receipt. A fake transfer, a staged meeting, a journalist she could trust, and an open camera. She folded the paper into her pocket and felt like a caged animal focused on one door. That night, as she rehearsed the playbook in the car, her phone rang. Unknown number. Her heart froze. A voice, close, amused, to calm, said, "Detective Hayes, you keep poking at things that don't concern you. Make one wrong move, and your daughter stops being a problem for us." She slammed the phone down, breath jagged. The threat was new, sharper. The message was clear. They'd been waiting for her to make a mistake. Clara looked at the city lights and let the rain wash her face. She was done waiting. The storm she'd quietly been building was about to break. She had a plan, a bait, and a single shot at exposing them. But would the trap catch the monster? Or swallow her whole? The storm outside had quieted, but inside Clara's chest, it raged louder than ever. For days, she'd been a ghost moving through the city's underbelly, calling in favors, paying debts in secrets instead of cash. Every step, every word was calculated. She couldn't rely on the law anymore. The law was poised. If she wanted justice, she'd have to make her own. At dawn, Clara sat in her car across from the Harlan Tower. A sleek glass building downtown, the same place where Ethan's firm handled international investments. She'd studied their routines for 3 days. Who came, who left, when the guards rotated, when the lobby went quiet. It was all about timing now. She had 2 allies left, Aaron, her old partner turned whistleblower, and Julia Marks, an investigative journalist who'd lost her job after exposing a judge's corruption. Together, they'd planned it perfectly. An anonymous file dropped to Julia's encrypted server, set to upload automatically once Clara triggered it. But there was a catch. The files weren't digital, they were physical, and they were in Ethan's private safe. Clara knew the code. She'd watched him type it years ago, back when she still believed he was just her daughter's charming husband. "Are you sure about this?" Aaron asked through the earpiece as she stepped out of her car. The morning fog curling around her. "No," she said simply, adjusting her cap. "But I don't have another choice." The building's security door clicked open with the stolen access card. Clara moved fast, up the service stairs, through the maintenance hallway, into Ethan's office on the top floor. The room smelled like leather and arrogance. Framed degrees lined the walls. Photos of smiling politicians filled the shelves. And there, in the corner, was the safe. Her fingers hovered over the keypad. For a heartbeat, she hesitated, then she punched in the numbers. 201745. The lock clicked open. Inside, money, passports, and a flash drive sealed in a black envelope marked Confidential Ward. Clara slipped it into her coat and turned toward the door, just as the sound of a slow clap broke the silence. Ethan stood in the doorway. He looked calm, too calm, dressed in a perfect suit, a cruel smile on his face. "Still the best detective in the room," he said softly. Clara's pulse quickened. "Where is she?" Ethan tilted his head. "You mean Maya? She's safe for now." Her hand moved toward her gun. "Don't," he warned. "You won't get far if you pull that trigger. Not with what's in that drive." Clara narrowed her eyes. "What's in it?" "Proof," he said. "Not of my crimes, of yours." Her breath caught. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" Ethan's smirk widened. "Go ahead. Open it. See what your old friends left behind." For a second, she hesitated. Every instinct told her not to trust him. But curiosity won. She opened the file on the drive, and what she saw made her stomach twist. Photos, reports, evidence, all twisted, edited, rewritten to frame her as the one behind the trafficking network. It was perfect. Too perfect. "You're going to take the fall, Clara," Ethan said. "The cop who went rogue. The mother who lost her mind after her daughter's death. The public will eat it up." Her heart stopped at that last word. Death. He smiled slowly. "You didn't really think she was still alive, did you?" Something inside Clara broke quietly, but completely. The tears didn't come, only fury. "You made your last mistake, Ethan," she whispered. He chuckled. "You always say that." She raised her gun. "This time, I mean it." But before she could fire, the window behind Ethan shattered a sniper's shot, slicing the air. He ducked, glass raining across the room. Clara dropped behind the desk, heart pounding. Through the shattered window, she saw a red laser dancing across the floor, moving closer to her. Ethan laughed. "Guess they don't need either of us alive anymore." As bullets tore through the glass and alarms blared, Clara realized the truth. She wasn't fighting one man anymore. She was up against an entire system, and they had just declared war. The office exploded into chaos. Glass shattered, alarms screamed, and the scent of gunpowder filled the air. Clara dropped behind the desk, adrenaline flooding her veins. Outside the window, flashes of red and white lights flickered through the storm. Snipers, cars, shadows. Someone had planned this ambush down to the second. Ethan crawled toward the door, ducking behind an overturned chair. "You see now, Clara?" he shouted. "We're both just pawns in something bigger." "Don't you dare play victim," she yelled back. Another bullet tore through the blinds, missing her face by inches. Clara took her shot. The window cracked again, glass spraying everywhere. Then, silence. She took the chance, sprinting toward the hallway, clutching the flash drive in her hand like it was her heartbeat. Ethan followed close behind, limping, blood streaking his arm. "If you go out there, they'll kill you too." "Maybe," she snapped. "But I'll die fighting." They burst into the stairwell, footsteps echoing in the hollow metal space. Somewhere below, she heard boots pounding upward. They were surrounded. Clara turned, gun raised. "Move, Ethan." He shook his head, breathing hard. "You think you can fix this? You can't even save your own daughter?" Her hand trembled, rage and pain twisting inside her. "You don't get to say her name." But then Ethan's tone changed, softer, quieter. "She's alive, Clara." The world froze. "What?" He nodded slowly, eyes darting toward the window at the end of the hall. "They took her because she found out. She wasn't supposed to survive, but she did." Clara's mind spun. "Where is she?" Ethan smirked weakly. "Wouldn't you like to know?" She lunged forward, slamming him against the wall. "Tell me, or I swear." Before she could finish, the stairwell door burst open. Armed men in tactical gear stormed in, faces masked, movements precise. "Percent, drop the weapon," one shouted. Clara's finger twitched on the trigger. Ethan whispered, "Run." "What?" He looked at her, desperation flickering in his eyes for the first time. "They want you, not me. Go." He shoved her toward the window, and before she could react, he turned and opened fire on the men. Bullets ripped through the air, one hit him, then another. He collapsed instantly. Clara didn't think. She smashed the emergency glass and jumped through the broken window. The impact knocked the breath from her lungs. She hit the lower rooftop hard, rolling across wet concrete. Pain screamed through her shoulder, but she pushed up, clutching the flash drive. Sirens wailed in the distance. She crawled toward the ledge, eyes burning from the rain. Across the street, she saw headlights, a van pulling away, tinted windows, no plates. And in that brief flash of lightning, she saw it. A hand pressed against the rear glass. Small, feminine, familiar. Maya. The van turned the corner and vanished. Clara's scream was swallowed by thunder. Minutes later, she staggered into a nearby alley, blood dripping down her arm, breath coming in gasps. She plugged the flash drive into a burner laptop she'd hidden days ago, hoping, praying it still held something. The screen flickered and a video opened. A warehouse? Chains. Faces. A woman's voice off camera whispering coordinates. At the end of the video, Maya's face. Bruised, terrified, whispering. "Mom, if you're watching this, they're making me pay for what you found. Don't trust anyone, especially the chief." Then the video cut to black. Clara fell to her knees, shaking. Her daughter was alive but in hell. And Chief Ward, the man she'd trusted for years, had orchestrated it all. Tears mixed with rain as she whispered, "Hold on, baby, I'm coming." She closed the laptop, loading her weapon with trembling hands. The rain was falling harder now, heavy, merciless, cleansing. She stood, pain forgotten, fire in her eyes. This wasn't about justice anymore. It was about war. The storm had broken, and in the final chapter, Clara would do the unthinkable to save her daughter and expose the devil hiding behind a badge. The city was asleep when Clara arrived at the docks, the same docks from the old case years ago, the one that never made sense. Now she knew why. It wasn't a shipping yard. It was a graveyard for secrets the coordinates from Maya's video led her here. Rows of abandoned containers stood silent in the fog, steel doors dripping rain like sweat. Every instinct told her it was a trap. But that didn't matter. If Maya was in there, Clara would walk through fire to get her back. She moved quietly between the containers, her gun drawn, her heart pounding like a war drum. Then a sound, a muffled cry. She froze. That voice, Maya. She turned toward a container marked 47A, a faint light leaking through a small vent. She rushed to the lock and fired. The metal split open with a deafening clang. Inside, her daughter, bound, weak, but alive. Clara dropped her gun and fell to her knees, pulling her into her arms. "Oh God, baby, I found you. I found you." Maya clung to her, sobbing into her shoulder. "I thought you were dead." Clara kissed her forehead, whispering, "Not yet." But before she could breathe again, the heavy thud of boots echoed behind them. A voice cut through the fog. "Touching reunion, Detective Hayes." Clara turned. Chief Ward stepped into the light, calm, polished, wearing his uniform-like armor. Behind him, armed men formed a semicircle, rifles raised. Clara pulled Maya behind her. "You're going to regret every single thing you've done." Ward smiled faintly. "Regret? No. You see, I'm proud of this." "You could have walked away, Clara. You could have stayed quiet. But you just couldn't, could you?" Clara's voice shook, but not from fear. "You sold them children. Women. Innocent people." Ward shrugged. "I built an empire." "The world doesn't change through kindness, Detective. It changes through control." He stepped closer, lowering his gun slightly. "You were always the best cop I had. That's why it's a shame this is how it ends." Before he could finish, a loud crack split the air. A single shot. Ward staggered backward, clutching his shoulder. Clara looked down. Maya's trembling hand held the smoking gun. "You don't get to hurt her again," she whispered. Ward dropped to one knee, fury twisting his face. "You think this ends with me? You've no idea who you're fighting." Clara raised her gun again, eyes steady. "Maybe not, but I know where to start." The air filled with chaos, more shots, shouts, the crash of metal. Clara grabbed Maya's hand. "Run." They sprinted toward the pier, ducking behind crates as bullets tore through the fog. Sirens wailed in the distance. Julia had leaked the files. The whole world was watching now. Ward's empire was burning, and for the first time, Clara felt something close to peace, even as the fire spread around them. They reached the edge of the dock. Maya collapsed, crying, clutching her mother's arm. "It's over, right?" Clara pulled her close. "Almost," but as the sun began to rise, painting the water in shades of blood and gold, Clara noticed something, a small black envelope, lying on the ground near Ward's fallen body. She picked it up. The front was marked in familiar handwriting, her husband's. Hands trembling, she opened it. Inside, a single letter. "If you're reading this, Clara, it means the truth is finally reaching the surface. What you uncovered wasn't just their secret. It was mine too. I tried to stop them once, and they made me disappear. Protect Maya. The man behind all this? He's still out there. No name, no address. Just one final line written in fading ink. He's closer than you think." Clara looked toward the horizon where the sun met the sea. Somewhere out there, another piece of this nightmare was waiting. She slipped the letter into her pocket and stood tall, the wind catching her coat. Maya looked up at her. "Mom, what now?" Clara smiled faintly, tired, fierce, and unbroken. "Now," she chambered her last bullet, "we finish it." Because even after the storm, the real devil hadn't shown his face yet. And when he did, the world would finally learn what happens when you cross a mother like Clara Hayes.